Hi there, it's Dave from Junkbox Guitars. Just wanted to show you quickly what I spent a few hours this morning doing. I'm about to be making some ukuleles and tenor guitars and things, so there are different scale lengths. As you can see, I've printed off at full scale, various scales. 23-inch tenor guitar. Anyway, basically the thing was, for my 25-inch, my regular guitar, I'll often use a template, for example this Stumac one, and this, as you can see, is notched. It works by attaching the fretboard to it, and you have a locating pin, keep on moving it along, and either saw with a handsaw or a table saw. So I did have a Stumac fretting blade set up in a table saw. Sometimes it's worthwhile, sometimes I just prefer to mark them out and cut them by hand. Anyway, the short of it is, I was thinking I need to make a mitre box, and I realized cigar box guitars, we've got to go a lot simpler, or we can go a lot simpler. They're not big guitars, so this is essentially what I came up with. The Stumac template. This was a piece of 1/8 thick aluminum, 3 foot long, that I bought from Home Depot quite some time ago. I've always used it as a straight edge. It's exactly the width of my fretboards, and so on. Anyway, I figured, well, it can't be that hard to make a notched template like the Stumac one. So essentially on this one piece, which I'll still use as a straight edge quite often, quickly line up necks and so on, I just put different scales. 23-inch tenor, notched it out, got a mark here where the 23-inch, whereas the 23-inch tenor bridge is going to be. Also on that same side, a 15-inch alto ukulele, and then on the other side, 17-inch tenor, 19-inch baritone ukes. So I have all these different scales, essentially really simple process. Just marked off with a permanent marker using the paper templates that I have, and then clamped it vertically and cut it with a hacksaw blade. So as I was doing that, the next thing that was coming to mind was what was I going to use as the locating pin, and also the mitre box doesn't need to be deep. So essentially I had on my table this kind of rig set up where it's just a couple of pieces of scrap, which I'll often use, and I can lay a piece of 1x2 in there, cut it square, whatever, just holds it. Anyway, this was already on here. I decided this could become the mitre box, so as you can see, I've cut the locating groove there for the blade, and this is just using a simple hacksaw, a fretting saw. And once again, the essential process is dead easy. Locating pin, move it along, and cutting through here all the time. So, yeah, through this groove, each time moving along. Of course, what you do is you double tape your fretboard on top. Sorry about the photography. And like you can see, this would actually just move along each time with the locating pin. Cut, make a cut, make a cut, and so on. So exactly the same process, but a really simple, cheap way. So out of this piece of aluminum, straight edge, I made 4 templates. I can't remember what it cost me, $10 or something, so probably $2.50 a template compared to, I don't know, $25, $30 per scale of these Stumac ones. And this is really heavy. So this has been a great thing. One last thing to go over was I was wondering what I could use as the locating pin. And then as I was cutting these locating grooves, dawned on me, well, the thickness of a hacksaw blade would be ideal. So quite simply, cut, can't even see where the hell I am. There I am. So quite simply, cut the groove, had an old scrap hacksaw blade, broke it off, filed it smooth against the surface, just leaving a little nub sticking out, which is the locating pin. The brass pin there, just drilled a small hole and drove that in just as a to hold it in place. And that is it. Really simple solution. I'm really happy how this is going to work. Way quicker than setting up a table saw for a few scales. A few fretboards you're going to be making on any of these scales, and a really, really cheap way to do it. And works perfectly. Tried it out on a piece of scrap, and I'm really happy with it. So there you go. Simple solution. And like I said, quite often the more I make these things, I realize that as cigar box guitar makers, we can simplify things one hell of a lot. For example, a mitre box doesn't need to be 3 inches deep. You know, there's no need for that. All it's got to do is be thick enough to have your template and the fretboard taped to it, and that's it. Nice, simple, quick couple of strokes with the blade, and you're done. Move it along, move it along. Awesome. Great. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now.